101.7 FM flagship news at 8. I am Esther Mosu. The federal government has disclosed that efforts were ongoing to include cancer treatment in the National Health Insurance Scheme. This is to ensure adequate and affordable healthcare services for citizens diagnosed with cancer. The National Coordinator Cancer Control Program, Federal Ministry of Health, Uche Nwoko, disclosed this at the Nigerian Army Officers' Wife Association's Cancer Awareness Summit in commemoration of the year 2024 World Cancer Day. Woko noted that the government has in place the Cancer Health Funds, which provides comprehensive cancer care for patients. According to him, over 2,445 patients have been registered for the scheme, while over 750 patients are currently being funded. Woko added that the federal government has already entered into partnership with non-governmental organizations to subsidize their cost of chemotherapy. Away from that, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has assured that the hard times being faced by Nigerians will soon come to an end with the right policies of the federal government. The president's wife gave the assurance today in the State House during a meeting for the governor's wives on her pet project, Renowned Hope Initiative. She assured that the year 2024 is loaded with peace, progress, prosperity, and greater achievement to the advantages of all Nigerians. Mrs. Tinubu commended the governor's wives for their efforts in support in the year 2023, urging them not to relent in addressing the needs of the vulnerables in their states, adding that the Women Agricultural Support Program on the ROHI will empower 20 farmers each from 5 states in the South-East zone. Still to come, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested the General Overseer of Faith on the Rock Ministry International, Theophilus Eboying, of allegations of defrauding church members and other Nigerians. EFCC spokesperson Dele Oyewale, who made this known in a statement on Monday in Abuja, said the pastor was arrested for allegedly using fake grants from the foundation to the tune of 1 billion naira. Oyewale said investigations by the EFCC showed that the Ford Foundation had no arrangements, grants, relationship, or business with the General Overseer. Away from that, a former commandant of the Nigerian War College, Rear Admiral Murtala Bashir, has disclosed that the Nigerian Navy onslaught against oil thieves saved the nation's 91,725.26 barrels of crude oil in 2023. Bashir disclosed this in a paper he presented at the inaugurations of the Naval Warfare Course 8 in Calabar today. According to Bashir, the economic saboteurs were also denied 513,350 liters of kerosene in 2023 alone. He further added that 351 illegal refining sites, 630 storage tanks, and 315 wooden boats were deactivated within the same period. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Air Force is set to induct its newly acquired T-129 attack helicopters and King Air 360 aircraft on Tuesday, the 6th of February 2024 at the NAF base, Makurdi in Benue State. A statement by the Director of NAF Public Relations and Information, Vice Marshal Edward Gibbert, who stated that the induction ceremony will be performed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to be represented by the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima. The event no doubt signifies a major boost to Nigerians' and national defense capabilities under the current dispensation. Away from that, youths and women of Niger State have taken to the streets of Minna, protesting over what they call the biting hardship and rising cost of living in the country. The protest started when a group of women blocked Minna Road Mina Bida Road at the popular Makungu roundabout to lament what they termed the suffering under Bola Tinubu's government. They were later joined by men and youths stopping vehicles from moving. The protest occurred in the morning when some of the youths began speaking in the Hausa language, lamenting how the country's economy was getting worse under the leadership of Ahmed Tinubu. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has commenced the enforcement of ban on importations, manufacture, distribution, sale, and use of alcoholic beverages in sachet, PET, and glass bottles of 200 ml and below. The Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, stated this today at a press conference in Abuja. The window period given to manufacturers by NAFDAC to sell of all alcoholic drink in this category elapsed on the 31st of January 2024. And now to happenings in state. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has announced the President Tinubu will launch the Red Line Rail project in the last week of February. Sanwo-Olu disclosed this during his visit to the headquarters of China Railway Rolling Stock Corporations in Delhi, China. The governor visited the headquarters of China Railway Rolling Stock Corporations in Delhi, China, to conclude conversations with the top management of the company on the purchase of new rolling stock for the blue and red rail lines in Lagos State. The company also reassured the governor that the additional rolling stock would be delivered at the end of the year. Meanwhile, the Ekiti State Governor Biodi Oyebanje visited the rescued pupils and teachers of Apostolic Faith Nursery and Primary School in Emiri Ekiti in Ado Ekiti, where they are receiving treatment. The students and their teachers were brought to the hospital from Emiri Ekiti by the Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Oyebanje Falani, and some ministry officials following the governor's directive shortly after their release. Governor Oyebanje, who arrived at the hospital a few hours later, had a brief interactions with each of the students and their teachers at the accidents and emergency ward of the hospital, while congratulating the students and their teachers for regaining their freedom from their doctors. The governor assured that the perpetrators of the crime will be fished out and punished accordingly.
As well for a swift response to this. This intervention made all the difference. I'm extremely grateful. And I also thank all the security chiefs. All of them put something together. They mobilize men and materials to ensure that they will rescue them. I'm extremely grateful for all of them. I commend the Honorable Commissioner for Health and his team for the full response to. Because early this morning when I spoke to him, was already in the morning. And I love the mobilization to bring them here. I've gone around and looked at all of them, they're stable. And they'll be here until they are found to be medically fit to go back. We are going to have a security meeting to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
In Imo State, reactions are still trailing the explosion that occurred in Obate community of the state, which led to the deaths of 5 persons. The latest is coming from lawmakers representing Ohaji Egbema Federal Constituency in Eugene Derby.
Today is very, very unfortunate. I'm saddened by the colossal damage I'm seeing here, because as we are coming, we saw some farmers still crying at this moment, showing heavy losses concerning their farmlands, and it's quite unfortunate. On this note, I'm calling on the necessary agencies. When I mean agencies, I mean palliative agencies like NEMA and other environmental agencies to come to the aid of our people, to come to the aid of my people. This is a fault of not theirs, only that they are now victims because the fire cutted their farmlands and destroyed their crops. So they need palliative.
Despite protests in some quarters, including 9 of its aspirants, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, yesterday conducted a delegate congress to elect 3 people from the ward that would participate in the February 22 governorship primary. Speaking to journalists in Ward 4 Coalition Center, Idia College, Governor Godwin Obaseki stated that the crisis in the party was being overhyped and it would not affect the outcome of the governorship election.
Party in this country. I've been in two parties, so I know. And from what I have seen in terms of the administration of a party, you cannot be PDP. They have very laid down processes. They follow the constitutions clearly.
Monitoring team from the Edo primaries, led by Governor Peter Amba of Enugu State, also gave his impressions.
Myself as the chairman of the committee, the electoral committee, and my other colleague members, we went to a number of wards where we found out that the turnout was huge and the process was free, fair, and credible.
Meanwhile, youths of Labour Party in Edo State are protesting against the alleged interference of the national chairman of the party and the party's primaries ahead of the Edo State governorship election.
Bringing to voting, that means he on his own, he as a candidate of his choice already. Yes. We don't want you to participate in the primaries. Let the primaries be free and fair. Let everybody go and vote for the candidate they want. We don't want Abuja to involve in the primaries. We just want what we the use of everybody want is a free and fair primary. Anybody that emerges as winner will support.
The state chairman of the party, Kelly Ubola, in an address to journalists, later faulted the protest.
I am of the opinion this was rejected and we leave no stone unturned to deal with it. First of all, if you are to ask or do a protest about the fact that you suspect that a particular process of an election will not be free and fair, then we know the definition of a protest.
Away from election matters now, veteran actor and folk singer Jimmy Solanke is dead. The legendary poet and playwright died today at the age of 81. He was said to have died while being rushed from his country home at Ikbere Roma in Roma North local government area of Ogun State to Babcock University Teaching Hospital, where he succumbed to the cold hands of death. Chief Solanke, who was said to have been in and out of hospital from December until he died on Monday morning. He is known for Kongi Harvest, Shongo, shadow parties, and many more. He is also referred to as Uncle Chime. And now to the foreign scenes. African leaders and mining experts and global investors are meeting in South Africa for the annual Mining in Durban Oil Conference. Africa is home to about 30% of the world's mineral reserves, according to the United Nations. However, most of this wealth remains untapped. Discussion was centered around the race for Africa's critical minerals such as lithium, nickel, cobalt, manganese, and graphite, which are essentials for generating renewable energies, including solar panels and wind turbines. And now we'll move over to the world of sports. Burkina Faso has now introduced the World Health Organization's first recommended malaria vaccine into its regular vaccinations routine. This means that infants who visit health facilities for their routine vaccinations in West Africa country can now receive malaria vaccines as an added way of staying protected from the disease. The first phase of this vaccine rollout is targeting almost 250,000 infants aged 5 months to 1 year in 27 health districts that are worst affected by malaria. According to World Health Organizations, every year 600,000 people die of malaria in Africa. Children under 5 make up at least 80% of these deaths. Tobias Musu has set a new African women's indoor record in 60 meters after running 7.75 seconds at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in Boston. Musu's 7.75 seconds performance at Boston means she retired the 7.77 record she earlier set in Kazakhstan at the Antenna Indoor Meet in January. Although an African record, the 7.75 efforts was not enough for the first position in Boston, as Amusa came second behind America's Tia Jones, who finished in 7.72 seconds. Closely following Amusa in third position was Bahamas' Davina Clinton, who finished in 7.76 seconds. Amusa had on the 27th of January in her opening race of the new athletic seasons, beating the African record set by her compatriot Gloria Alusier. And now, former Manchester City player Benjamin Mendy has been given more time to clear a six-figure tax debt as a buyer for his house is in place. The High Court previously heard HM Revenue and Customs is seeking a bankruptcy order against him over a bill set to be £800,000. It sought the order again at a hearing before a specialist insolvency judge. The court heard the sale was expected to complete in about 8 weeks on his house in Masiga's Kashira. The hearing in London was told the property had previously been marketed at £5 million, but was now being sold at £3.8 million. And that ends the Citizen 93.7 FM flagship news at 8, as edited by Lawrence Omoite. I am Esther Musu. Do have a wonderful day.